All righty, here we go. No pressure. 4-0 last week. No, I'm just teasing you, man. I've been saying this all day like I'm running some sort of media empire here, but it was a good week for you and college football. It's a good week, so I'm excited to talk with you. How we doing? How's everything going?
Doing good. It's definitely picking up, getting a little busier right now, but there's nothing wrong with that. Always time for college football. Uh, Best part about not working on the weekends is I can just sit down and have a good time on Saturdays. So
There you go. Well, let's start with. So we got a handful of games tonight. So I really want to pick your brain about a couple of them because we'll start with the dumpster fire that's North Carolina because I can't help myself but be like I got to watch this. It feels like the Colorado from last year where you
yeah,
just have to watch just to see what happens. But talk to me about because there's 3 games tonight. The spreads they're begging for some action. Can you really lay 8.5 points with California? Because they had the quarterback Mendoza from that's on Indiana, right? Like he was there last year. Give me a reason to bet California because I'm predicting that nobody from North Carolina wanted to make this trip. They had a bye week. Everybody knows they've been god awful. But what's the scouting report in California?
so the issue with California is like I do think they have another good quarterback this year. I believe because of course I think they lost both Jesse Aguilar, I think, was at Cal, and I think Mendoza was at Cal. I think they were
Hmm.
both there. Obviously, Aguilar goes to Tennessee, Mendoza is at Indiana now. I think they have a decent quarterback this year. I don't think they're especially good. I think they're 4-2. I think they've been playing fairly decent. I haven't watched a lot of them. I think they're kind of just like a non-factor. One of those Power Four teams that just kind of exists and they're fine. And it's like that's cool. Kind of like what Auburn has been this year so far. And the other side is UNC is just terrible. UNC is just not good. It's just not working. Some people might be able to argue that Belichick gets better with time and that he'll figure it out. I don't buy that. You don't bet off vibes. You bet off what you've seen. I kind of just feel like California's going to crush it. Like,
The only thing that was giving me hesitation, I was hoping you'd give me something here, is they lost to Duke 45-21. California did a couple weeks ago. So that wasn't making me feel great. So maybe we'll just stay away from it. But it does feel like if you're betting on this game, man, I don't know how you bet on North Carolina. It's just an absolute dumpster fire over there. What about the Louisville-Miami game? That's the first game. Can you really give the 11.5 points? Carson Beck, he's been on fire. Everybody's favorite team this year is Miami, right? It's Miami, Ohio State, 1-2. What do we think of Louisville? 11.5. Which way would you lean in that direction?
so obviously, Louisville, it's Jeff Brahms, the head coach. So they're offensively solid. They're a solid offensive program. Losing Tyler Shuck is a lot. It's a lot to lose. He was really solid for them last year. He made them a contender last year. The thing about it that just kind of weirds me out is the offense of Louisville. I think they're pretty dynamic. They're pretty explosive, but Miami's great defensively. Miami's great offensively. 11.5 is just a really high line for me. It's kind of in that weird phase of like, if this game becomes a shootout, it can easily cover or it can easily not cover. And then if it just ends up being kind of flat, it is a Friday game. It's a weird game for Miami to have to play. I've never seen a top 3 team get scheduled on a Friday before. Weirds me out. Short rest. I would stay away from it. I was for a really long time thinking about Miami. It was almost one of my picks because they're just that good. And I think they're 11.5 points better than Louisville. It just depends if that shows up today.
Yeah, Louisville's 4-0. They lost a really tough game to Virginia last week. I'd be tempted to take Louisville, especially like you said, it's Friday night. It's just a little off. What about Nebraska? Is Nebraska any good? Minnesota doesn't seem to be very good. Nebraska's giving 7 points on the road tonight. It just feels like a game that Minnesota's going to cover or Minnesota's going to win just because everything I was reading this morning is like, how do you fucking bet Minnesota? They seem to be having it, well, a down year for them, which would be a really down year. But what about Nebraska? What's the read on that quarterback, the Mahomes?
Dylan Raiola. Yeah, supposed to come to the Georgia. He's supposed to be here. But no, he's great. Like he's having a great year. First year was obviously a little rough for him, but he was so young. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. He'll struggle to start off. Really starting to seem like he's found his form. On the road against Minnesota, these Big Ten matchups, people I don't think truly understand. Like these are tough atmospheres to go into. The Big Ten takes football a lot more seriously than they get the national hype for. So it's weird. But that being said, like I don't think the pressure is going to bother Raiola too much. He seems so much more composed this year than he was last year. His only issue is taking sacks. Touchdown feels fair. My book had it at -7. I think if you can get -7, it feels pretty comfortable. Anything above that is obviously a little more risky, but I feel like a touchdown's pretty safe for them.
I should be. I should have. I was a little harsher on Minnesota. Minnesota was so bad against Ohio State. They did beat Purdue last week. Purdue's not any good, but I saw them against California earlier in the year, and they weren't good. I happened to see the 2 games that they lost. They are 4-2. I would favor Nebraska there. I just don't think Minnesota's going to be able to score. I think Nebraska suffocates them. We got we got a full slate tomorrow. I got a bunch of games. I don't know which direction you're going to go, but I'm excited to hear it. And I'm really, we got to start with, like, we have a couple must-win games. So even though I'm the one that's like down on the playoffs and feel like it's taken a lot away from college football, you get to this point in the season and a couple teams have really struggled. So I don't want to step on you though. I want to go through your 5 games first. And then we'll cover some of the games that I'd like your opinion on. We'll go through that. And so go for it. What's your first game for tomorrow?
Yeah, so in no particular order at all. I'm starting with Mississippi State plus 9.5 on the road against Florida. I have never seen a game show up that feels like a more obvious Florida looks pathetic on offense and defense, gets beat by 2 touchdowns against a team they shouldn't be getting beat by 2 touchdowns against. Mississippi State's not great. They're definitely better than people thought they were going to be this year. They were across the board pretty much projected to be the second or worst team in the SEC. They're I think 4-2 now. Like, they've been productive this season. I think the quarterback Van Buren, I believe is his name, is really, really solid. Good dual threat. This is more just fading Florida. Like, I think they lost last week. I don't see Billy Napier staying around much longer. I don't think this is a game they're going to win. This really does feel like Florida loses this game, goes into the bye week, and then comes out against Georgia and realistically probably plays better than they should. But just knowing how Florida has done the same thing under Billy Napier for the past 3 seasons now, this feels like, again, they're going to hit that lull, that dip. And yeah, this is a must win for them to make a bowl game. I don't think they're going to make a bowl though.
Really? So Florida's almost a double-digit favorite. Do you think Mississippi State's going to be in Mount right?
I think they can. I'm definitely take the points though. Regardless, I think 9.5 is a ridiculous line. I think you're giving Florida a ton of home field advantage that realistically just shouldn't matter too much.
All right, next game.
I have a Georgia Tech plus 2.5 on the road against Duke. I hate this line. I
feel like you're jumping right into the pit there because what the hell? Why is the spread? Why is Georgia Tech getting 2.5? They haven't played.
Earlier this year, Illinois was in the exact same spot against Duke on the road, crushed them, beat them by 20. There's no world where this game should end up being like Tech as underdogs is ridiculous. I think there's honestly arguably more value in betting Tech outright here and just not taking the points. Obviously, I'm gonna take the points here just to be safe. They're a better team. Duke's just not that good of a team. Like, I get what they beat Cal, or that's who it was. Or it was Louisville. They beat both. Or no, they just beat Cal. I don't put a lot of credence into that. They're a better team. Tech is so much better than Duke. They have better wins. They look better all the time. I get Tech's tough to watch. They play close games. So if this was Tech minus 2.5, I'd feel a little different about it. I trust Tech to win a close game.
This is the number one game. I don't believe in this. I really don't, because it drives me crazy. But this is like the number one game where people that sell their picks and pretend like they're sharps or know everything will take Duke because the number doesn't make any sense. Right? You have the 12th ranked team in the country and they're underdog at Duke. So you are just telling me Georgia Tech's going to beat the crap out of them. I would say that, I hope you're right, because it does feel like an ultimate trap. I haven't seen Duke play, but they've been rolling. Like, they scored 45. I mean, they score a lot of points. They scored 45, 38, and then 45. So it is interesting, but you have been on Georgia Tech even last year before they really got going. You told me Georgia Tech was going to play Georgia tough. Should have won that game last year. Probably one of the best games of the year. So, all right, you got Georgia Tech and Mississippi State, two road dogs to start off. What's the third one?
Yeah, going back to the well, I think I targeted this last week too. Clemson -5 at home against SMU. We're riding that Clemson. They're just going to surge back up right now. This is that point in the season where Clemson is going to start just stomping on teams. They're slowly pyramiding up the difficulty of opponents too. SMU is a really solid 4-2 team. I love I think his name's Kevin Jennings at quarterback is incredible for SMU. That being said, Clemson's going to win this game. They're playing like they should have played to start the season. They came out so sleepy. I don't like Cade Klubnik still as a NFL quarterback, but he is a good college quarterback. I think with the home field advantage, this is a game Clemson wins, in my opinion, probably by 7 to 10 points.
Alrighty. Next one.
So last two games are two of the biggest this week. A buddy of mine really big on LSU this week. He thinks they're winning that game. I don't. Vandy, I have Vandy -2 here. If you listen, I get LSU gets the big win against Clemson week 1. Everyone thinks they're great. I want everyone to go check the tape, check if they have a legitimately good win up to this point in the season. I think their best performance so far is losing to Ole Miss by less than a touchdown.
They don't seem, something seems off with the offense. What is it exactly?
Well, I don't know, because I'm assuming maybe Nussmeier's got an injury. Maybe they're calling the game differently. There's no reason for LSU realistically to be this flat. They have all the weapons they need. Mm-hmm. They are just so flat on offense, and they're going on the road against a Vandy team that really needs a win here. They feel like they still have a playoff potential. Sure. Hobby is going to come out great. They still played Bama really well, and I think Bama is an incredible team this year. So
that's an elimination game for Vandy, not quite for LSU. Is that how you would read it?
Yes, because that would be 2 losses on the road for LSU against a really good ranked team, so it doesn't really fully eliminate them. I would say it takes control of their own destiny out of the picture. They need
for Vandy, it would pretty much send them
they'd be done. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like they'd be done. So I do like the logic there, because Vandy needs to win that one. What's the read though? You said it's LSU at Vandy. What kind of environment do we get in Vanderbilt? Is it?
It used to be
the stadium.
What?
They have I think they were like renovating the stadium years ago, and it looked like a disaster.
Yeah, so I think no, Northwestern's the one in the really bad situation, I think, right now. It might be Vandy though, so they might be playing in a really weird spot. That being said, they're showing up now. Vandy has a sport to care about that isn't baseball for the first time in forever. They're going to be there. They're going to be loud. It's still an SEC school. They love Diego Pavia down there. This is momentum that's built up since last year. I expect it to be loud. No one likes LSU. No one likes Brian Kelly. They're going to be there.
I like it. All right, what's the last game?
And I was struggling for a really long time, just trying to think of something. I got to rock with Georgia -7. I'm taking Georgia by a touchdown. I feel horrible about it. If you're honestly, realistically, Ole Miss +7 probably has more objective value with how close Georgia's been playing teams. Fading Georgia in the first half has been printing money. I would honestly today also recommend taking Georgia. It would be Ole Miss +4 or +3.5 in that first half. Line. I do think though at the end of the day, Georgia's a better team. I think eventually the offense has to score a little more. I think this is the right matchup. I don't love Ole Miss defensively. I think they're fine offensively. Well, I think they're really good offensively, but they've been a little flat. They're coming off of a big question mark last week. They did not look good against, I think it was Washington State. Now they have to come in a hostile environment, an environment that's mad about last year, try and win this game and keep it close. I can see this game being 10 points.
So Ole Miss beat Georgia last year. It was like 23-4, some ugly game. Mm-hmm. What though? It's 7.5 points. That's a lot of points. What's the read though? This Ole Miss quarterback, Chambliss, the Division II guy, I like him a lot. Very dynamic, seems very efficient. Is Georgia's defense just going to suffocate Ole Miss? Is that how you see it playing out?
So, yeah, he's an interesting quarterback. For Georgia has not been turning teams over this year, and they actually really weren't doing it last year either. They've reached they're very interesting defense. They do suffocate you, but they don't turn you over. Chambliss, when he makes mistakes, makes really big ones. He doesn't make a lot of them, but the ones he does make are very, very costly. Austin Simmons is also still in the picture. He's still floating around there. I don't know. It's Lane Kiffin. He'll find a way to do something weird. I expect Chambliss to start, but if Kiffin wakes up that day and thinks Simmons should start, who knows? I think Georgia defensively, we've seen them basically do the same thing for the past 4 weeks at this point. As they come out flat, they wake up in the second quarter. I expect that to maybe not happen as much defensively this time. I think they're going to be a little more awake. They're at home. This atmosphere is going to be insane. This should be a defensive masterclass from them.
I couldn't believe the spread was 7.5. It's 7.5, and it's 57.5 as the total. So they really got the game. They got Georgia scoring 37, 34.
And that's the issue.
Like
is Ole Miss defensively is nothing, in my opinion. They have a defense out there. They do not scare me at all. It's much different from last year where that defensive line was really, really strong. It's not as good this year. It's not bad. They're still one of the best teams in the country. This is Georgia's get-right game. It doesn't matter if it is a must-win for Georgia. They will be playing like it is a must-win. I expect that to factor into this as well.
Yeah, so for Ole Miss, it
doesn't matter. They're undefeated still.
Yeah, it matters, but it is certainly not the same for Georgia. Georgia really, really wants to win this game. All right, let me run through a couple other games here because I need some clarification because after last week, things are a little confusing, right? We got basketball teams that are now number 3 in college football. What's up with Indiana? What happened in that game? Indiana beats Oregon, and now I don't know what to make of it. Start with the Indiana portion. I don't think they play they get Michigan State at home. Well, yeah, basically they don't play. They get a bye. Michigan State's turned into a disaster. How good is Indiana? They re-signed the coach. They feel good about themselves. Talk to me. What did you think of the game last week?
They're such a hard team to evaluate. They are a good team at this point, for the record. They will be top 10 to end the season. They have great wins on their resume. They are stomping teams.
Yeah.
That being said, anyone who watched that Oregon game, Dante Moore was pathetic. I'm sorry. I really like Dante Moore as an NFL quarterback. That was a stinker. That was not a good game. He has to be better than that. It's unacceptable. Defensively is maybe the worst showing I've seen from a team that I sat up here and said has the best defense in the country. They couldn't tackle a 5'8" kicker if they were asked to. They couldn't tackle anything. Every single run, there was yards after contact. They played horribly. And this is, unfortunately, I hate to say it because I do like Dan Lanning, is becoming a trend with him where he just doesn't show up for the big games. He can get them to the big game, but when it comes time to really prove how good you are, he's not done it yet at Oregon. He's gotten them in such good situations.
And now
every single time.
Yeah, I was going to say the Penn State win looks a little less impressive after Penn State shit the bed last week and got rid of the coach. So Indiana minus 27.5 with Michigan. I hear you there. Indiana's rolling. What about the other way, though? Oregon's now got to go to Rutgers. That's about as far of a trip as you can make. They're 17.5-point favorites. Any chance they just lose again? Or do you think they're so good this is the time to buy Oregon and they just go out there and
so, yeah. I was thinking about that too, honestly. The time difference with the flight, with it being so far away, is why I ended up staying away from it. It does feel like a get-right game. Oregon's a great team still. I don't want people watching this and thinking they're finished, they're pathetic. This is more just a testimony to how consistent and solid Indiana is going to be this year. I think Oregon can. I think it's more likely than not that Oregon does cover. I'm just a little scared of the time zone differences. It's a long flight for them. I would probably just stay away just because, again, it's like 7 hours. But they should probably win that.
What about Texas A&M? I've said
I was thinking about this game too. I was really thinking about this one.
They're playing Arkansas. It feels like a little bit of a trap because Notre Dame beat Arkansas, and this is how you do math in college football because you can't watch all the games. Notre Dame beats Arkansas 56-13. Texas A&M beat Notre Dame. Texas A&M's at Arkansas, and they're only favored by 7.5 points. So it begs the question of why is it not 13? And then also, for those that don't remember, including, I don't even know if I was born, but there used to be a Big 8. These teams used to play each other all the time. So they've got to renew their rivalry over the past couple of years. But is Arkansas dead? Do they have any fans left? Or is it one of those where they'll still show up and it'll be hard for Texas A&M to get the win?
Well, the other side is they don't have a coach anymore. They fired Sam Pittman, I think, 2 weeks ago, which is what makes this line so weird to me. I don't know what's going on. You see in the Penn State-Iowa game, Penn State are underdogs without their coach and quarterback. Arkansas fires their coach. They're somehow in a very favorable spot at home against A&M. It's a rivalry game, so the fans will be there. And Marcel Reed, to me, is still so scary. He is really good, but he's all over the place at points. He can be really, really bad at times. And this is a road environment. You're not giving it to me at 6.5. You're giving it to me right above that touchdown line. It's a little scary. All logic says A&M covers that game. Something about it, though, with it being such a rivalry game with such a quarterback that can just lose it a little bit, I stayed away. I love Marcel Reed as a quarterback. I just think it does feel like a trap. The line's too low. The situation just feels just right for an upset. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm not.
Why did Notre Dame destroy Arkansas? Did that game just get away from Arkansas, or was it a bad matchup? Like, what is there a little bit of a difference in the way A&M plays than the way Notre Dame plays?
Yeah, 100%. Notre Dame's running back first. It's Jeremiah Love. It's Jadarian Price. That is how the offense should be, because they can't really let what's his name, CJ Carr throw the ball too much, because once you apparently it's like a can of worms. Like literally as soon as you give him a chance, he won't stop. So they really had to simplify the playbook, and it works great for them because they have, again, the best running back room in the country. A&M's more quarterback focused. They fully trust Marcel Reed, and they should. And they just let him kind of control the game.
You think it might be a situation where maybe they give up a couple sacks, he turns the ball over, it's a little sloppy. All right, well,
yeah. And obviously you shouldn't really bet on expecting regression. I'm not even gonna call it regression. It feels like it could be a Dante Moore last week situation.
I hear you. It's a young quarterback in a tough environment with a game that he should win. Easy to look through it. Well, what about Notre Dame? Let's continue with that because they're big favorites. 9.5, home against USC. It is a must-win for Notre Dame. I guess for USC, it's not a must-win because they're in the Big Ten. They'll have enough games. They'll have 2 losses. But Notre Dame's not getting in with 3 losses. They have no good games after this in order to add to their resume. So they need to win out. And most likely they'll get in just because they're Notre Dame, but they don't really get to play anybody after this week. So I think that's the logic for why Notre Dame's 9.5-point favorites. Plus, I guess Vegas thinks Notre Dame's that much better. Talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah. So what's weird about it is I don't think Notre Dame has a chance of getting in regardless. I think 2 losses, independent. They haven't shown anything like this. They would have to win this game by 30 for, I think, them to even earn half a spot in the playoffs. And the issue is, like, it really comes down to, will their defense be able to stop USC's offense? We've seen USC stumble a little bit recently, but I feel like this is a bounce back spot for them. The other side of it, though, is I think Notre Dame's at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think Notre Dame should win this game outright fully. You can fully create a world where USC does end up coming out of this on top.
You don't think Notre Dame's going to get the last playoff spot with 2 losses? You're crazy. They'll 100%. They were in the championship game last year. They'll definitely get it.
It'd be so frustrating because everyone knows they will get that spot over an SEC team that 100% deserves it more.
Yeah, that's a completely different argument. But if they got to choose between fucking Vanderbilt or Notre Dame at the end of this thing, or Ole Miss or Notre Dame, I think 2 losses would get them in. Especially when you think about the loss to A&M and Miami, they lost by combined 4 points.
And that is a good point. Is these are really good losses. They didn't mean to do it, but they did end up scheduling a really hard schedule. And trust me, they definitely did not mean to do that. But
I think if they beat USC this week and win out, I think they'll get out.
And they better win out. They have no excuse not to. It's really just not that hard of a schedule. Like this happens every year.
And talk about a team that is throw them into the group that would be competing with Notre Dame, is a team like Missouri. So Missouri with a heartbreaking loss. First of all, Alabama, they're off this week. Good win for Alabama. They beat Missouri. That was the one game that you pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Missouri's coming down the field and down by 3. You live for those moments. If you're the quarterback and he throws a bad pass, it's intercepted, they lose. Now they go to Auburn in what is, -1.5. Can they get back on track? What did you think of the game last week? What do you think of Missouri overall?
Yeah, I mean, Missouri, I love Bo Pribula. I think he's a great quarterback. I think I talked about it last week too. He was a big reason why I was a little scared of taking Alabama -3, because he's so incredible. That being said, he's still so young that he'll make pretty rough mistakes at points. And Bama is unbelievably polished right now. They are really, really strong. Missouri should not be. They should feel kind of similar to how Georgia felt. It's like it's really not that bad of a loss, just because we are talking about a team that I think currently is one of the few teams that's just up there with Miami and Ohio State. Like they are playing some of the best football since that opening week loss against Florida State. They're probably the best team as far as resume goes since then. So Missouri should be fine. They do need to win this game against Auburn really bad.
Yeah.
Auburn has had some of the worst refereeing luck I've seen one singular team get over the course of a season in my life. It's every single game for them. I don't know who they pissed off. They do have a pretty annoying fucking coach, so that might be what it is. But
I don't know why. Yeah, I completely looked ahead for the following week like a goof. So
okay,
Alabama's playing Tennessee. Literally, the game of the week is Alabama Tennessee.
that's what I was thinking. I was waiting on it.
Dude, my bad. I'm looking at the week ahead. I got so many different things in front of me, and I'm like, right after I was like, let me let you finish your thoughts, so I didn't interrupt you. But I'm like, yeah, the Alabama Tennessee is the one we're getting to. That's all right. So just go. Give me the breakdown. Alabama, Tennessee, because like you said, Alabama's playing great football. It is a big number. It's 7.5, and Tennessee just can't beat Alabama, right? They can't get over the hump. Can they get over the hump this year?
Yet, it's been a while. Last time Tennessee won this game, they took down the goalpost and put it in a river, and got everyone mad as fuck. But again, like I was said on that rant earlier, Bama's probably playing the best football of any team in the country right now. I don't think that's an exaggeration outside of maybe Indiana, because Indiana looks pretty great too. Going into Tuscaloosa is interesting. Bama's really run the gauntlet here by going to Florida State, Georgia, and Missouri already. They can now come back home and feel a little better. They definitely looked better against Vandy at home than they did on the road against Missouri. But that being said, like Jesse Aguilar looks incredible for Tennessee. Tennessee has been playing really, really solid, kind of under the radar football outside of the Georgia game. And even that game, they played well. Their defense they should have won that game too.
Sure.
And yeah, I don't think they're a team that is they haven't really made excuses about that loss too much. They really took it on the chin well and have just moved past it. It's a trap game for Alabama all day. This is a game that Alabama may get a little too comfortable after the gauntlet they've just run and think that this one being at home will be comparatively a little easier. But Tennessee's going to be fresher. Tennessee's not played against as good opponents as Bama's had to play against. I can kind of see Tennessee at least covering this, but at the end of the day, Bama's been one of the best teams in the country. It's hard to make an argument for them to not win this game.
Yeah, like when I watch Alabama play, I'm like, man, they completely changed. They're in the image of their new coach, DeBoer. It's like
it feels so much like those Washington teams, that the Michael Penix Washington teams. Like,
well, yeah, because basically his offensive coordinator went to the Seahawks last year. Ryan Grubb, I think is his name, and it didn't work out with Geno Smith and the Seahawks. Mike McDonald, it just wasn't the best fit. Mainly because McDonald wants to play defensive football, and this guy wants a dynamic offense, a lot of movement. And now that he's back here with DeBoer, it's in Alabama, their offense is dynamic. So I think that number, I'd be worried about Tennessee if they had to play from behind. That would scare me. That's probably why the number's as high as it is. But yeah, Alabama is rolling. But just when you think you figure out college football, it's Oregon proved it to you last week that you get. It is what it is. So, all right. Utah, BYU. What the hell's going on here? BYU gets one quarterback last year, and they're undefeated for a while. Then he transfers at the end, last minute. That's not the plan. They plug somebody else in there, and here they are again. So 6-0, but they're home against Utah, and somehow Utah's favored. I don't know if you remember, this was one of my most passionate rants the following day, was this game last year where the AD –
remember? Yes, I do remember that. That was nuts.
What was it? The AD of Utah accused the referees of cheating, and he was like, first of all, you just don't do that. Second of all, he was completely factually wrong about whatever play he was referring to. It was very embarrassing. With that being said, if you're looking for probably the best environment, a wild environment, that one's going to be absolutely lit. These two teams hate each other. Utah's favorite. So what the hell? Utah destroyed. Who they destroyed last week? Was it Arizona State?
I think it was. I think it was Arizona State. Yeah.
So now Utah is favored by 3.5 at BYU. I was so excited about this game that I forgot Tennessee and Alabama were playing 3 minutes ago. So yeah, I wanted to get to this game. What do you think? Utah at BYU.
It's so tough. I mean, again, they hate each other. It's such a rivalry. It's basically a heads up line on the game. I cannot give good advice for a game that is going to be so close. They every year, by the way, also just play the same as each other. They play almost identical styles of football. It's always defense focused with a decent quarterback and an offense that'll get the job done. Utah's quarterback doesn't really throw the ball a ton. He's not the best passer. He's a really good runner. And they have one of my favorite receivers in college football right now, Jake Davis. You will never remember the name because it's so boring, but he's really good out of the slot. He's really dynamic. I think he's incredible. BYU offensively, again, bouncing back from losing Jake Retzloff is really tough. They're at home. They're going to be there for this game. I realistically, I do think it's so tough. Like, I like both these teams. I think this is one where you can flip a coin and just like be like, I'm going to root for Utah this game. And then you just put the game on, you bet on Utah, and you can just sit back and watch it. Cause
I am surprised. I am surprised it's 3.5 because they're begging you with that line to take BYU. So something might be up there. I don't like betting that game. Just too big of a rivalry there. But if I was going to bet, I'd bet BYU. But I don't like.
I think that 3.5, I would bet BYU too.
Yeah.
But realistically, I feel like you should just be betting the money line on that game. The points are going to be so weird regardless. And BYU spread feels pretty safe. And then pick whichever money line you like more, because I think it'll be like a 1-point decision.
Tough decisions tomorrow night. You got BYU, Utah, USC, Notre Dame, and Alabama, Tennessee all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I don't know if they're playing baseball tomorrow night. They got to play. Well,
it would be
if the Brewers win tonight, I think they play tomorrow night. But I would imagine Game 6. I'm gonna double check it now that I brought it up. But I imagine Game 6 for the Blue Jays Mariners would be that game would be pushed to Sunday since they have to travel.
They do it's 2-3-2, right? They do
2-3-2, yeah. So the Dodgers, as we that was the easy money here in the playoffs. It feels silly to say that, be like, oh well, that was obvious. But before the playoffs, the odds got favorable odds. Right. Dodgers are rolling. The Mariners Blue Jays game tonight is must see TV. It's that start at 6. I can't wait to watch that.
Who's going for each team? Is it
Gossman and Miller? So
wow, it's game 1, guys. Yeah.
I don't know how long they'll. I mean, you're gonna have to pull Gossman out of there, physically pull him out. Gossman will go the whole. That's a little before your time. He pitched down there at LSU, but he's always been a workhorse. And then Miller
played for the Braves for a little bit too. I love Kevin Gossman. He played for the Braves right before the career revitalization that he got in. I think it really started in Cincinnati during the COVID year. He had a really good COVID year, moved over to the Giants, and then was a Cy Young candidate, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. Any crazy guess where he started his career?
I know. I read that you got probably the worst part of it, honestly. Besides,
he just decided to get rid of him. I think he was doing just fine. Whatever. We're not doing Orioles stuff today. Good luck with all the games.
Maybe another Charles Tillman. Is that his name?
Chris Tillman.
Is Charles Tillman the quarterback?
I think he is. I think he got caught up. Was he like a cocaine dealer or something with the medical fraud? Did something.
Charles Tillman?
Oh fuck! I should.
No, he was an FBI agent.
Good. There we go. Maybe we'll just edit out the last minute. That'd be better for everybody. All right. Let's go over your 5 picks. I'll put it out there. It's Mississippi State plus 9.5, Georgia Tech plus 2.5, Clemson minus 5.5, Vandy minus 2, and then Georgia minus 7. Right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Good luck. I'll see you guys on Sunday. And sure. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah. See you.
All right. See you next week.
See ya.